when independence becomes armor. And this one matters because so many accomplished self-aware adults are not single because they are incapable of love. They are single, disconnected, guarded, or lonely inside relationships because their survival strategy got mistaken for their personality. You may not emotionally be unavailable in the obvious way. You may be warm. You may be generous. You may be caring. You may want love deeply, but in some part of you may still be organized around this rule. Do not need too much. Do not trust too fast. Do not let anyone have enough access to really hurt you. And the problem is the same armor that helped you survive can also block the love that you so deeply. There's a kind of independence that is healthy. It says, I know who I am. I have my own life. I don't need someone to complete me. I can stand on my own. That kind of independence is beautiful. But there's another kind of independence. It looks strong from the outside. It looks confident. It looks self-sufficient. It looks like you have standards. It looks like peace. But underneath, it's not freedom. It's protection. It says, I don't need anyone because needing people has not felt safe in the past. I will handle it myself because relying on others has disappointed me. I will stay in control because letting someone close means they might hurt me. I will call it independence, but really, I have built a life where almost no one can reach me. That is what we're talking about today, when independence becomes armor. And this one matters because so many accomplished self-aware adults are not single because they are incapable of love. They are single, disconnected, guarded, or lonely inside relationships because their survival strategy got mistaken for their personality. You may not emotionally be unavailable in the obvious way. You may be warm. You may be generous. You may be caring. You may want love deeply. But in some part of you may still be organized around this rule. Do not need too much. Do not trust too fast. Do not let anyone have enough access to really hurt you. And the problem is the same armor that helped you survive can also block the love that you so deeply want. I'm Allison Verge, relationship intelligence coach with Path to Love Mastery. I help accomplished self-aware singles and couples understand patterns that keep derailing love so they can change what happens in real life moments. And today's topic is one of the core patterns I see so often: strong life, guarded heart. People who have built so much, people who are capable, thoughtful, resilient, and often deeply loving. But when love asks them to receive, soften, deepen, or seen, something shuts down. So let's talk about the difference between healthy independence and emotional armor, because they're not the same thing. Healthy independence says, I choose you because I want you, because I cannot survive without you. That's what it's not about. It's not about saying I cannot survive without you. I cannot let myself need you because needing you gives you power. Healthy independence allows you closeness. Armor manages closeness. Healthy independence has boundaries. Armor has walls. Healthy independence says, I have a full life and there is room for love inside it. Armor says, I have a full life, so I don't have to risk disrupting it. That is the difference. And here is why this matters. A lot of people are proud of being independent, and they should be. Maybe you had to become that way. Maybe life required it. Maybe you had to parent yourself emotionally. Maybe you had to rebuild after divorce. Maybe you had to hold everything together while no one else knew how hard it was. Maybe your body, your family, your career, your finances, or your past relationships taught you that you could not count on anyone consistently. So you adapted, and you became strong, and you became capable. You became the person who handles things, and you became the person who does not fall apart. I can relate. You became the person who others rely on, and that strength is real. But here's the part that most people miss. A survival skill is not always a relationship skill. The same part of you that knows how to carry everything may not know how to let someone carry something with you. The same part of you that knows how to protect your peace may know how to let love interrupt your control. The same part of you that knows how to be okay alone may not know how to be safe in a partnership. And that's not a flaw, that's a pattern. There is a cost to not always being the strong one. The cost is not obvious at first. In fact, the world often rewards it. People admire you, they trust you, and they come to you. They often say things like, I don't know how you do it. You're so strong. You always figure things out. You're so independent. And probably a big part of you really likes that because strength has protected you in the past. It's probably led to a lot of your success, but another part may be so exhausted because being strong all the time means you rarely get to be held and you rarely get to be uncertain. You rarely get to say, I don't know what to do. You rarely get to receive without feeling guilty. You rarely get to need without feeling exposed. And in love, that becomes a problem because intimacy requires some level of emotional access. It requires someone to see not just your polished self, but your real self, the tired self, the scared self, the part that wants reassurance, the part that wants consistency, the part that wants to be chosen without having to perform, being low maintenance. And if you have to build your identity around not needing anyone, that kind of love can feel threatening. Not because you don't want it, but because receiving it means letting go of the version of yourself that survived by not needing it. That's a very different kind of work. I understand this pattern personally. I spent years navigating complex relationships in business, managing expectations, solving problems, staying composed, reading dynamics, and being a person who could handle a lot. Then life gave me situations where handling a lot was not optional. A serious ski accident, a chronic pain condition, a major identity shift, and then the end of my 20-year marriage. Single parenting, rebuilding, and later health challenges that forced me to look at what stress, fear, and emotional armor was costing my body and my life. When you go through enough, strength becomes automatic. You do not always choose it consciously, and you just become the person who keeps going. And there is dignity in that. But there's also dangers in it because eventually the pattern that once protected you can start making decisions for you. It may choose distance and call it peace. It may choose control and call it standards. It may reject help and call it independence. It may avoid vulnerability and call it wisdom. It may push away love and call it intuition. And I want to share something else with you. For those of you who have children out there, we think that we're passing on a great message to them, that strength is such a skill. And I learned a lot through a lot of the struggles that I went through. And as a single parent, I thought that by showing my daughters how strong I was, I was really teaching them to be strong as an adult. And it wasn't until I was in a lot of therapy after everything that happened that the therapist said, do you realize what you're doing? And I went, what do you mean? She went, you're teaching your kids that it's not okay to feel. It's not okay to really feel their emotions, be sad, not to be strong all the time. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I immediately broke down. And from that day forward, that was probably over 10 years ago, I made sure that my daughters always saw me when I was sad so that they knew it was okay to feel and that you didn't always have to be strong. It was okay to be vulnerable. It was okay not to always show this independent, strong side of yourself. And I think it really had an impact on them and their ability to connect with me and their ability to be truly authentic as well. So I want you to consider that in case it hits you the same way it hit me. So we have to be very honest with ourselves. Not every guarded feeling is a boundary. Sometimes it is an old wound trying to stay in charge. So how does independence as armor show up when you're dating? It often looks like this. You say you want a relationship, but your life has almost no room for one. Your schedule's full, your standards are high, your routines are protected, your emotional availability is limited, and any potential partner has to somehow fit into a life that was designed around not needing anyone. That is not automatically wrong. You should have standards. You should have a life. You should not abandon yourself for love. But there is a difference between having a full life and having an inaccessible life. Here's some signs that the armor may be running your life. You are attracted to unavailable people because they do not ask too much of you. You lose interest when someone is consistent. You feel irritated when someone wants regular communication. You say you want depth, but you feel uncomfortable when someone is emotionally present. You overfocus on flaws so you can create distance. You tell yourself you feel you're just being picky, but no one ever feels quite safe enough to let you in. You want love in theory, but your body reacts to closeness like a threat. And that's not pickiness, that is protection. And it makes sense because if closeness has ever cost you too much, your system may decide that distance is safer. The problem is distance doesn't build the relationship that you want. It only protects you from the risk of having one. This pattern does not only affect single people, it shows up inside your relationships too. You may be in a relationship and still be quite armored. You may live with someone and still not let them reach you. You may be loyal, functional, responsible, committed, but emotionally hard to access. Maybe you manage the household. Maybe you solve the problems. Maybe you keep the calendar, the bills, the plans, the family logistics, the emotional temperature. But when your partner asks you what you feel, you shut down. When they ask you for more closeness, you feel criticized. When they want your affection, you feel pressured. When conflict comes up, you go into problem-solving mode instead of presence. When they're disappointed, you defend instead of receive. And over time, the relationship becomes efficient but not intimate. You become co-managers of a life instead of two people that are desired and emotionally connected. This is often where couples start to feel lonely beside each other. Not because love is gone, but because the access to each other is gone. The door is technically open, but no one knows how to walk through the door anymore. Underneath independence as armor, there is usually a root belief. It may sound like, if I need someone, I will lose myself. If I trust someone, I will be disappointed. If I let someone close, they will take too much from me. If I depend on someone, they'll control me. If I soften, it's not going to be safe. If I love deeply, I will be trapped. If I'm not enough, they will leave. Notice the contradiction here. The armored part of you wants love, but it doesn't trust love. It wants closeness, but it scans closeness for danger. It wants partnership, but it fears dependence. It wants to be chosen, but it does not want to give anyone access to those things that matter. This is why insight alone is not enough. You can know you are guarded and still shut down when someone gets close. You can understand attachment patterns and still choose distance when your body feels threatened. You can want love and still protect yourself from the very thing you want. That is why the work has to happen in real life moments. The moment you want to pull away, the moment you want to dismiss something good, the moment you want to say, I'm fine, when you're actually not. The moment you want to handle everything alone. The moment you want to call your wall a boundary. That's where the pattern changes. Let me give you a composite example. A client comes in and says, I want a relationship. I'm ready. And in many ways, she is. She's done the healing work. She's got a good life. She knows what she wants. She's certainly not desperate. She's not looking for someone to rescue her. But when we look at her dating life, something becomes clear. She's drawn to people who live just far away enough emotionally that she never has to fully risk being known. If they're inconsistent, she feels the pull. If they're warm but unavailable, she feels chemistry. If they're complicated, she feels engaged. But when someone's kind, clear, and emotionally steady shows up, she says, I don't know, something's missing. And when we explore what is missing, and it is not values, it is not attraction, it is not alignment, it's activation. Her system is used to working for closeness. So when closeness is offered without the chaos, it just doesn't feel real yet. That's the point where the pattern becomes visible. She does not need to force herself to choose someone she does not want. But when she does need to stop, what she does need is to stop letting her nervous system function for this attraction. And that is the shift. So here's the 3 questions I want you to ask yourself. Question 1, does my independence create room for love? Or does it protect me from love? Really think this through, okay? I want you to journal on this. Look at your calendar. Look at your emotional habits. Look at your dating choices. Look at how you respond when someone really wants to know you. Look at whether your life has space for partnership or only space for someone who does not need too much from you. Trust me, I've had so many clients that have been through this. Question 2. Do I want a partner or do I want someone who fits around my defenses? This someone can sting because many people say they want love, but what they actually are available for is a relationship that doesn't challenge their protection. They want someone emotionally present, but not too present, close, but not too demanding, loving, but not too disruptive, committed, but not requiring much adjustment. That may feel safe, but it may keep you alone inside your own life. Question 3, what do I make it mean when someone wants more access to me? Do you make it mean they are needy? Do you make it mean they're trying to control you? Do you make it mean you will lose yourself? Do you make it mean you are about to be trapped? Or is there another possibility? Maybe they're trying to build intimacy. Maybe they're trying to know you. Maybe they're asking for connection, not control. Maybe your system is interpreting closeness through the lens of old danger. That distinction matters. So here is the practical step. Do not try to drop all your armor at once because it's not going to work. That will not feel safe and it won't last. Instead, practice one small act of honest access. That means letting someone see a little more truth than you normally would. So, for example, instead of saying, I'm fine, say, I'm okay, but I'm more tired than I want to admit. Instead of disappearing when you feel overwhelmed, say, I need some space, but I do not want to disconnect. Instead of rejecting help automatically, say, part of me wants to say no, but I am practicing receiving. Instead of acting like you don't care, say, this matters more to me than I expected. Instead of deciding someone is too available, pause and ask, is this boring or does it just seem unfamiliar? This is how the pattern starts to change, little by little, not through a giant breakthrough, through small moments where you choose connection without abandoning yourself. That is the goal, not losing yourself, not collapsing into someone else, not becoming dependent in an unhealthy way. The goal is secure connection, where you remain whole and still let someone matter. So here's the reframe. Your independence is not the problem. Your strength is not the problem. Your full life is not the problem. The question is whether those things are serving love or protecting you from it. Because the version of you that survived may not be the version of you that can receive. The version of you that handled everything may not be the version that knows how to be held. The version of you that learned not to need may not be the version that can build a relationship you actually want. And that does not mean you have to become someone else. It means you have strength that needs to evolve. Strong does not have to mean being unreachable. Independence does not mean you have to be unavailable. Protection does not have to mean being closed. You can be self-honored and emotionally open. You can have boundaries and still let love in. You can be whole on your own and still build something real with another person. That is the work. I've done it. I know. I've been at that starting point and I am where I am now. If this brought something up for you, I want you to take my free secret love block quiz. It's going to help you see the pattern that might be running your love life. And if you want practical tools and support for changing these patterns, then join my Love Mastery IQ waitlist. That's where I'm building deeper system for people who want secure connection without losing themselves. Both links are below. And before you go, ask yourself this: is my independence creating freedom, or is it protecting a wound that is ready to be healed? That answer might be the beginning of a very different kind of love. And if you'd like to continue to learn more how to have the incredible love life you desire, watch this video here.